Hit it!
Hit it. Hello, welcome to Marauders TV. Today we are going to be looking at what you can see on screen here, Mancunian Carnage Resurrection, a match play event taking place at Element Games this weekend, 31st of July to the 1st of August. Tickets are £40 from AJ Ghost Arm. I think there are a few tickets available, so if you're watching this now, before the event, get cracking.
I think we're sort of mid-70s with an 80 capacity. So yeah,
I think there's a few. There's a couple of people that haven't been able to make it from the initial list that I know of. So today we are going to have a look down some of the lists. I think mainly talking about the lists that we're taking. The Royal We at the event. So there's the four of us. There's me, there's Tony, there's Tom Blacksall, and there's Gabe. But we've also got Tim Holbrook and Nigel Chaltland attending the event but can't make the call. So we're going to be suitably critical, I think, about their lists and
their lists again,
while they're not here to defend themselves. And also have a look at a few picks to win. I think, Tony, you said there's some of the list checkers. So Laurie, Steve Curtis, Alex himself, and Gabe. Have picked a list each that they think could win the event, and also a wild card that they think might do well that isn't actually something that you might see all the time. That's about it. I think we've got this little slideshow ready. But most importantly, it's Warhammer face to face. Big Warhammer happening for the first time in 18 months. So proper excited.
Yeah, I mean, this event's been kicking around for most of COVID, hasn't it? And then pushed back.
It's been rescheduled more times than most things.
So, I feel a bit
credit to Alex for sticking with it and persevering, because I know from having to postpone an event before in the past myself, it is a pain in the arse with ticket sales and people asking for refunds or saying they'll move the ticket and things like that and trying to keep up with it. I know I was one of those people, back through COVID, I was buying tickets for every event going in the hope that something might happen. And now I've got tickets for events that I just can't even remember that I bought. I had to ask event organizers whether I had a ticket for their event. So, if everybody else is like me, then it is a bit of a chore for the event organizers.
And I suppose the thing here is, because of the list submission, you at least know these guys are still engaged with it enough to have sent the list in. So that's a pretty good.
I mean, from the old socials, people have been playing a lot of games.
It's also the first 2-dayer in the UK, I think, of third edition.
I imagine so. Yeah, it will be. There's been a couple of little events at Elysium Gaming and a couple of others. But this is the first 2-dayer. Certainly the first what we'd call a big event.
His rankings is 64 to get full ranking points.
Is there a ranking system?
If you win this, you win the rankings for the whole year.
I didn't know there was a ranking system.
That dice rankings, isn't it? Right, so let's crack on. So, everyone knows us in Orange as being, fluffy narrative. It's all about the story. So we'll start with mine.
Am I okay to turn the camera off then while I throw up?
Yeah.
Good.
So,
some skellies, yeah? That's generally.
I'll just do a little bit here. I know I'm pulling Tom's leg a little bit. I have got background for this. Is he actually gone?
No, I'm here. Back now. Thrown up. I'm back.
That's going to be shocking. So with this, there is a background to it. It is based around my Flesh Eater Courts, sort of pretend city in the kingdom that overrun by the madness, etc., etc.
Whoa! Start from the beginning. Who were the Flesh Eater Courts, and where did their story come from?
No, we haven't got time. These guys are like, there's a lot of Bretonian imagery that go with the Flesh Eater Courts. So what I thought would be quite cool is to have some of the ones that didn't turn as an army. So I got some 3D print files, and I effectively 3D printed this army. So it's all based around Bretonians, but in this sort of kingdom that I base my Flesh Eaters around. So that's the background as much as we need to talk about. Now, you look down this and you'd be like, the guy's gone absolutely mental, which is quite appropriate for flesh eaters, I suppose. But what I've tried to do is give myself the least amount of things I need to worry about. So, you know, all of the knights are the Morsar and they're not mixed. So I can say everyone on a horse is a Morsar guard. You know, there's no bow thralls in there. They're all Namarti thralls. The items that I've taken is the, if I can find it, the Sanguine Pearl, which gives me a 5-up ward save, and then got the 5-up ward save out the core rulebook. Lotan has a 5-up ward, and the Lady of the Lake Eidolon has a 5-up ward. So I know across my army, I don't need to think about it. If my character takes a wound, I've got a 5-up ward save. And it's just to, you know, simplify it and dumb it down as much as I can for me. You know, all of my knights, the Morsar Guard, are all in Hunters of the Heartland, so I don't need to worry about how monsters impact on those guys. So I've made decisions that are not necessarily gaming decisions, just to take some of the complications away. And Tom and I had quite a good chat about this, and he's like, oh, why not death? You know, they're pretty good at the moment. I'm like, but the thing is, I want to learn AOS 3 with something I'm not invested in the same way. So if I have an absolutely awful weekend and I go 0-5, I can blame the Deepkin and not the death, as I'm learning, getting the reps in as.
It doesn't sour the models that you use.
So I mean, you know, this was sort of a lockdown project. You know, I put a lot of time in and getting them painted up and whatnot. I think they've come out okay. Calligraphized all the list and everything, wax seals and all sorts of stuff. They're objective markers, so it matches in. But that's sort of the background of why I've gone down that route. So we've got the Achillean King, who's the old Bretonnian guy on a hippogriff, effectively. He's got a great sword rather than the poleaxe, because he's got a great sword. I told you this wasn't honed. The Lady of the Lake, who's the Eidolon, she's the spellcasting one, because it felt more appropriate. And she's just got Steed of Tides, which is a teleport away type thing. My Soul Scryer, again, he's just got the 5-up ward save. And then Lotan is only in there because he's 75 points and he's therefore the cheapest hero I could get my hands on, which allowed me to put my thralls in a vanguard. Just in case I need that extra bit of movement. And the Grand Battalion, or the Grand Strategies, hold the line. So because of that, I made the Achillean King the general, so that the Morsar are also battle line. So it's all battle line or heroes, apart from the two Alapexes, which are my Pegasus Knights. So that's kind of where I went with it and how I sort of got to this point. So nothing particularly going to set the world on fire, I don't think.
Triple core battalion's interesting. You don't see 3 in many lists.
You have to have a lot.
If you've not got the battle regiment.
Yeah, it's what was your thinking behind putting the thralls in the vanguard and the Morsar in the hunters?
So
the other way around.
What I would have liked to have done is mix and matched.
No, but it goes against what you're trying to do.
But I was like, actually, I figure the knights are going to be off in the thick of things. The fact that they're hunters in the Heartlands mean they can't get stomped and they can't get roared at and all that side of stuff.
When does the lightning go off from the
beginning of
beginning of
Okay, so that's a big thing then, actually, because you take a couple of wounds going in and then charge a monster and he stomps you, you could lose an eel before you do your zaps. So actually it works quite well.
Yeah, so that's kind of, and then the Vanguard now, thralls don't have champions.
Okay.
Putting them in the Vanguard, and then Lotan just sort of sits and hangs around at the back with those guys and, you know, tries to put it's a resource thing more than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the net launchers stop the pile-ins. It's just on a hit as well, which is absolutely bonkers. But
Yeah, the nets on the Sharks are really good. Yeah.
I'm not sure 125 a model is right for them, but considering what they do and the fact that
I think they're arguably a little cheap.
yeah, I haven't put them on the table yet, so
Yeah,
I'll
I
let
think
you
they're anything at that sort of points range leads itself to being spammed a little bit.
Yeah,
and gets the shenanigans that you can pull with multiple of them. I know that some lists have done well with a few that may have been AOS too, but I mean,
yeah,
It's the thing though, yeah.
yeah, it moves over quite well. I think it does what you say though, doesn't it? It's a it was similar to when I was playing with the Soul Blight at the start of AOS 3, and that was my sort of here's a blunt object with 3 war scrolls and not much to do, so I can learn the flow of the game and the decisions and the new command abilities and things like that. And actually having the ability to do it with an army that doesn't have a ton of rules. Like I've played a game with Lumineth recently, and I've played a lot of games of 3 now. But even then, playing a single game with Lumineth, I was just losing my mind. I had no idea what was going on.
yeah.
Because they just have so many rules.
Not an easy one, I don't think that.
They're not beginner friendly, I don't think, Lumineth, to be honest.
No, it's just multiple once per games on everything, isn't it? And
Yeah.
It's nice to learn how my army worked as it went. But
that'll be me on Saturday morning. The other thing I've Matt Lyons of Pro Painted Studios has very kindly designed me Bretonnian themed tokens for these guys. So
cool.
he's done the Deepkin tokens, but with all fleur-de-lises on and shields and everything, so it fits in. And then the tides, he's done like a dial, like a magnetic dial you spin round. But rather than tides, because that's not really appropriate for a nation that's based in the mountains, it's done off the old Bretonian vows I used to give the heroes.
Yeah.
So actually, you have a vow per turn. So like the joust and I think the cover one. I can't remember. Noble Disdain or something like that. I think was the shooting one on it. So anyway, he's built those up for me. As
much as it really pains me to say it, it is cool.
Hey, I've got this recorded. Stop.
Got that record now.
I'm gonna get off. Well, there you go. And then right. So I think we've talked about. The other thing I'd just say as well. I've gone Briondar for the Enclave. And the reason I've gone for that is because it does absolutely bugger all I need to remember, but I can have 3 units with the Soul Scryer. So
okay.
He goes down, I can put him down, I can go Knights 1, 2, 3, and then they go over there. So
I was going to ask you that one. And the other one is what's your faction terrain? What's the ship?
I've 3D printed like a chapel, the Grail Chapel. And I had to, and it's just sort of wall and a roof. So I've had to build, what's it called now? Like model putty, all the flags inside and like made a fleur-de-lis out of it and everything. I've got a little light that sticks in there so that it glows. Oh, there you go.
It's too far now.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Get me
I
out.
retract my previous statement.
I can edit that out, it's fine. Right. So
no, you can't. Come on.
Anything else on that, or we happy to move on from my narrative?
Oh, move on.
Move on.
So, Gabe, I don't think there's any narrative here, is there?
I think that this looks like my homework when I used to do it, and they asked for like 1 page of story.
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a little bit of narrative. You win points if you guess the name of the list, what song it's from, and what band. That's about it. So. Yeah.
Pound and pound.
No, you see, you won't get it. You have to Google it. It's a Dragon Force song, but I like from about 15 years ago. So
Dragon Force were Through the Fire and Flames, right?
Yeah,
the guitar hero.
Went on for about 8 minutes long, and and bloody stumped into the fingers. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Am I feeling my age right now? A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I only know them through Guitar Hero. It used to be like the hardest song to play on that, and it was the and it was like ridiculous.
Oh god, yeah, this song is exactly the same.
Yeah, it was an 8-minute guitar solo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I will slightly talk you through my list then, right? Basically, because I was trying to learn AOS 3. I basically wanted something easy and that could take advantage of the new monster rules, etc. A lot of big heroes as well, obviously with the big mega Gargants. So this has basically been transferred from AOS 2, but obviously with slight tweaks and whatnot. So I was taking the Breaker Tribe before to get +1 to hit against certain things, etc. But I don't think you necessarily need it when you can just do +1 to hit off all out attack now. And there's
because like you've got a combat you want to win a turn with Gargants, haven't you?
Yeah. So with this one, I also wanted, much like everyone else, I wanted to take the Amulet of Destiny, which is great on a Mega Gargant, having a 5-up ward on top of everything else, and it was better than the 6-up ward that you get in the Breaker Tribe. So I wanted that, but because Alex has made a rule for the tournament where your first artifact has to be from your own battle totem, it forced me to go to the Taker Tribe, and because the only way I can do it with Gargants, because they don't have any little heroes or anything to get any enhancements like that.
Yeah.
So I could only do it by taking the very acquisitive command trait, and then, which isn't bad. I don't mind it.
That gives you an extra artifact, then, does it?
Yeah. It means
that's good.
Either the Mega Gargant can take 2 artifacts, or you can have two on 2. I've only got 1 Kraken. So just means I'm taking an extra the generic one on top of the other one. It makes me
you lose what, 5 wounds on the general?
Basically that. It was I just see the thing is I was pondering either taking +5 wounds and having reroll ones to save, and the fact that I went, well, he's made that change. Well, it's much easier for me. So
what do the sandals do then?
It makes his stomp better. Basically, it's rend 3 damage as opposed to rend 2 D3 damage. Basically, I could have made him a wizard, but I think I tried that in one game and it was just like, you're just never getting a spell off against anyone.
Also,
really.
I don't think it's needed these days in armies like this, because in that turn you're generally only doing it, I think, to dispel endless spells, and you can do that through the hero abilities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I find myself doing that a lot, to be honest. Because I don't always need command points because I only have so many units anyway.
Yeah.
So it's mainly the +1 to hit or +1 to save in various combat or shooting phases.
Yeah.
That I go for, and obviously with this one, because it's Taker Tribe, everything counts as more. So it's more competitive as opposed to the Breaker Tribe.
Is it 25 or 30?
The big ones count as 30 and the little ones count as 15. So
it's good.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. If I'd bought more Mega Gargants, which is probably down the pipeline, I would go for 4, which I know some lists at this tournament have done that. But at the moment, I'm just going to go with this and be what am I on? I'm on 1880 points or something like that. So I'm quite confident of getting the triumph most games. So
you've gone with Inspired.
That's +1 to wound, isn't it?
No.
Not.
No, that's Battle Shock.
No, it's not, is it?
Well, unless there's a rewording in the mini handbook, it's Inspired is +1 to wound in the little handbook.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got the wrong one then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It was the bottom one. Yeah. So.
Oh right.
I had it down as is it Indomitable?
Yeah.
And then I read the little handbook and realised it was actually Inspired, which seems the wrong way around. So
it does. Inspired to me is Inspiring Presence.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's one for me then. I mean, I'm 1980, so I might not get it, but if I do, I've got the wrong one.
What's thirsty then?
It's reroll charge.
Okay. Well, I've got that one instead of +1.
That's the one I picked, thinking it was the weird one.
There we go.
I did that.
We can all be idiots together.
Oh man, this is exactly.
This is where we edit this out and silently change the lists as well.
No, it's all good fun. It's all good fun.
So I think, to be honest, at Alex's event, I'm just going to get back into the game and enjoy gaming. To be honest, if I can if I can win more games than I lose, I'll be very, very happy. But I know there's quite a few Gargant players going, etc. So I'm one of a bunch. So it'll be quite hard.
Your list's good against the others, though. Surely, being taker over breaker.
Yeah, I think so. I was trying out Kragnos the other week, but well, you guys all know how bloody that went. That was rubbish. I was taking him for the mirror match, and he was just nah.
Yeah.
So
I think a Gargant versus a Gargant is often a 2 or 3 turn fight.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You're scoring the points in there, not every turn.
But, yeah. A big thing that Alex has changed also in the battle pack is the fact that you don't gain an extra point for killing a monster per turn. So that helps me out massively.
Why? I thought it was just the command ability and the spell that weren't in him.
No.
So the battalions survived. What was the other? There was only one other bit that survived.
He kept in the one where you remove the
removing the objective.
Yeah, but he got rid of the +1 for monsters, which it's each to his own. But I think that obviously helps my army out massively.
Yeah.
So,
okay, interesting.
There we go.
I think this will need to be announced at the start of the event then, because I think a lot of people will end up playing that wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will before he does his wheel of misfortune and tells us what mission we're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Well, so speaking of which, I've no idea what order I've done these slides. So
who's next?
Hey, Tom.
Hey,
Maui and the Metal Crunchers.
Great.
Yeah, this is Gabe's chosen name. I had a bit of a poll in the Marauders chat on who had the best name, and I went for Gabe's. Some of them I didn't want to write down, so that's why that one's probably in the top 3, but number 1 for ones I'm allowed to write down and put in public. So
yeah, fair enough. That's all good. So talk us through this one then. So
very similar to both of you guys so far. It's a few War Scrolls, trying to learn AOS 3, also trying to finally finish a project, because I'm one of those people that I've had projects on the go, like project armies, and unless there's a tournament, I never finish them.
Yeah.
So this is like the last one in the conveyor belt, and I was like, right, let's use this tournament to actually do it. So these are all fully converted, don't look a thing like ogres. They're all on Leviathans for the Stonehorns and Alapexes for the Mournfangs, which you guys have all seen, and have some photos on Twitter this week once they're done. But it's a really straightforward list. Played it quite a bit now. I've played probably about 10 AOS 3 games with this, so got a good understanding of what works, what doesn't now, I think, and I can actually concentrate on the rules more now, which is good. But yeah, it's just 3 Frostlords on Stonehorns. They're in Boulder Head, so they've all got mount traits. I've kept them simple and give them all Metal Cruncher, so that's the D6 mortals at the start of combat every turn.
Very nice.
Against 4+ save and better, is it?
Yeah.
So if you're still on a 1-up, you're in trouble. If you're on a 5-up like Tim's Trogs, I'm in trouble as well. So pretty much hits everything, bar 1 or 2 things that you're going to kill anyway.
It's everything you care about, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I've got the standard command trait and artifacts from Boulder Head on my general. I've gone for 3 units of 2 Mournfangs just to fill out my battle line. Little nuance there, I've got 2 units of Culling Clubs. So I'm thinking of them as my defensive ones to hold objectives. They bounce back wounds on a 6-up save, so they're still pretty punchy. The Hackers are much better this edition, so they're my sort of punchy, give a Frostlord a help if it needs. The extra rend, we've got 1 less attack, but then you've got all that attack now, so hitting on 3s actually makes them really good. Yeah,
there's a lot of units like that, isn't there, that like people discounted because they were sort of a couple less attacks and hitting on 4s, whereas now like you can get them on 3s and
there's a lot of stuff in Destruction, especially ogres, where they hit on 4s and they weren't that interested. Now people are starting to switch over. I think a lot of people just switch to Hackers for the lists for this event, so that'll be interesting how that goes. I've got a bunch of things to fill out the list. I was playing around with more Stonehorns, more Mournfangs, stuff like that. But I've realised, especially with the way the battle tactics work, I need stuff to just take objectives when I need to. So Hrothgorn is an ice hunter, so he teleports in outside of 9 and then brings in this little unit of man trappers. So it's like 3 little goblins that come in. And they've got a funky little piece of tech where in your first turn you bring on a trap. So you put it on an objective or on a piece of terrain, and then if someone goes into 1 inch, they take D6 mortals on a 2-up. So it's just another thing to make your opponent think about. And then
is that one of the Underworld guys? Then is it? Yeah.
So they're really good. I think they work out at the same price as what it costs to have Frost Sabers and an Icebrow Hunter usually. So he also brings in a Frost Saber as soon as he comes in. So you've got that extra 1 model that's a unit just to block Unleash Hell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ends up being really important. And I've squeezed everything I can into a battle regiment, get the drops low. So I'm down to 3 drops with the 2 extra Frost Lords left.
That's cool. How does the Underworlds thing interact with the boxes in the core battalions then? Does that count as 2 choices or 1 in the...
So Hrothgorn is still a leader, so I've got him as
well.
Oh,
okay, right. So he's the leader and they're a unit.
Yeah, so I've just squeezed in 5 battle line, so I have enough points for Frost Sabers.
Yeah.
And then Man Trappers is another one. But yeah, the other Frost Saber doesn't start in your list, so that comes in later. So just nice.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I like it. I do know there's quite a few of these lists go into Carnage. A lot of BCR with the metal crunchers, but I don't really know how different each of them are. But there's quite a few like it, and obviously people are loving it.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat in the WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. I know Pete from the Essex Moor Tribes has taken exactly the same list as me, but slightly different artifacts and stuff.
Okay.
Same artifacts, I think, but he's got different mount traits and a few other things. So it'll be interesting to see how we do compared to each other.
It's one of those lists that a lot of people will have had painted from previous edition.
Yeah.
Well, and it's carried forward really well. Sorry, that's a car horn. 1 second.
Yeah, no, it's something that would be really easy to make if you had a few start collecting sets yourself and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of people in the chats I've seen that have been getting it ready for this event. Loads of
just on the Mortal Realm you've put Gur. Is there any reason for that, or are you just a narrative choice?
Just a narrative choice. I don't even know if it does anything anymore. I was just like, well, they've got to be from Gur. Everyone's in Gur now. So
yeah, I'm not. Mine are based in Ulgu.
I didn't put any. Mine are one.
Yeah, it's very interesting case I get extra points.
I've got one question. Go on, one question for Tom. How many games are you expecting to win or hoping to win?
That's tricky. I think this list, it won't be my skill that carries it. It can just run over other people's lists, especially the Stonehorns if you get the right matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We've got the wheel, so who knows with the battle plans? I think that's going to affect things a lot. So I'd be happy if I go 3 and 2. That's the goal. Just get a few wins in on the first day and see how it goes. Really,
I think you'll get 4.
I definitely think it's 4, 5 on a good day, but all the good checks
could,
around, I can run away from them. But
you could win an event with that with the right draw.
Yeah.
But there may be some games that are tough.
Yeah, 3 or 4 I think is doable with it. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
How does it fare against the Gargants, you reckon?
Pretty good.
I think it smashes it.
We played the DOS 2 game, didn't we? And I think
you beat me and I beat you, didn't they? Yeah. So it's a bit hit and miss. It depends who gets the charge off, basically.
Very, very swingy, isn't it? I think a lot of these armies will be at this event. A lot of games will be down to a charge.
The Gargants thing's interesting, isn't it? Because you kind of just have to play standoff and whoever goes into the middle of the board first ends up losing.
Yeah, exactly. But I have a little things like I count as more, but and stuff like that.
Yeah,
can stand in my stead. But
it's
interesting match.
I mean, that's really why I've got all the little units of Frost Sabers and stuff like that, because it's just that little extra thing in mirror matchups will help blocking charges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Same question then to Tony and Gabe. What are you expecting? What are your expectations for the weekend?
I'd be quite happy with 3 and 2, to be honest. I want 4 and 1 at least, but I'd be quite happy with 3 and 2 if I can do, to be honest. But back at a first event in God knows how many months. So
I'd like to know how to play AOS 3 at the end of the weekend. And I've made significant progress on the bottle of brandy that's behind the bar, but that's been unopened, that was bought in for this event 18 months ago. But,
are you going for your like face hammer of a couple of years ago, where you didn't turn up on day 1 and won both games on day 2?
Yeah, reading, but I left it too late. No, I think these people that I would say are more prepared than me, that have more practice games than me, who've got better lists than me, that should, in all fairness, do better than me. And I think that's fair enough. So I haven't really got an in-game, if I went away and finished dead last with no wins, but I've had fun and I've kind of got my head around AOS a bit and I know where I'm going with it, then I'd be okay with that. But hopefully not. I won't mind a couple of wins at least.
That's a good mantra, though. It's a good mindset to have in.
I don't know. I mean, the lists, there's some pretty good painters, but you never know. I wouldn't mind, saying that there isn't like a thematic or that kind of painting style nomination type thing.
No, taking it out this time, isn't it?
But yeah. People come up and say, "Oh man, that's really cool. That'd probably make my weekend more than winning games."
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Fair enough.
There you go. Captain negativity, but in a positive way. So, and fire. Oh, I pressed something. There we go. So Nige just decided. Well, he's called it Gottrek's trip to Jurassic Park and not an erotic thriller. Sorry, erotic, not neurotic thriller. Nige called him. I think ultimately with this, Nige has just decided to use the only model that's shorter than he would be in the Warhammer world.
He's put him on a rock, though.
One of the only models that's more annoying than he is as well.
So I will caveat this a little bit with Nigel's only got what he's got for these guys, hasn't he? He's got it's all old metal, or a lot of it's old metal models.
Yeah. I think he painted Gotrek originally when he was 500 odd points to fill out a quarter of his army, and he's now had to paint 100 points more because Gotrek dropped in points.
I know. But he's definitely not a honed Seraphon list by any stretch. And I think there's 2 types of Seraphon, isn't there?
He's the only person that I know that plays Coalesced,
which is like the physical blood and bones.
I don't know. There's a few around now. He's accidentally fallen into a pretty good list. Like this to me is still like a 3 or 4 wins list.
30saurus with Coalesced is it's a break.
Thunder Lizard's just reducing whatever Coalesced reducing damage is just ridiculous. So
yeah. I'd be happy playing this myself, not just for the memes. It's quite a good little list.
Yeah. So, he's got.
What else? So it's all monsters, isn't it? So he's got that and Carnosaur. We'll ignore the Slam and Gotrek. They're probably the 2 that don't really fit in as such. 30saurus warriors, and then his other battle line are the Stegodons, I think.
Yeah.
And then he's got the Bastillodon in there. Who's in Hunt? So I think this is quite cheeky, actually.
Yeah, so he's done that to stop other monsters being able to get.
Yeah, because you lose the Behemoth keyword, although they're still monsters, so he can put them in the Hunters of the Heartland. So his Stegodons are immune to other monsters, but can still do their monster things. So I actually think that's quite a neat little.
There's one thing he didn't do, which would have been even worse if he put Gotrek in that, because you can put.
Wait a minute. There's Gotrek.
Yeah, you can put Gotrek in the Hunters of the Heartland, so he can't.
He's not a leader.
Yeah, because he's just a group or whatever.
He's just being nice to everyone.
And then he's got a battle red. Which battle regiment again? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so he'll be a
Should be.
3-drop.
3-drop?
Yeah, 3-drop. I think 3-drop.
Yeah, because he's got the battle regiment and then the 2 that are in the hunters in the heartland.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's. I think it's not what people are running, so they may not have come across it in quite the same way. But the slam doesn't summon in this, does he? So what's on the board is what's on the board.
Correct. Yeah.
You'll still drop rocks on your head, but
Yeah, and he's unmodifiable bravery. Like those 30 Saurus don't really go anywhere. The monsters with the -1 damage are pretty tanky as well.
shooting. He's got the Bastillodon shooting. He can shoot twice in this as well. So
He's not got he has got Bastillodon. Sorry, yeah, it's just the
Bastillodon can shoot twice.
Yeah, it can do. Sorry, I thought you might have been in the lizard one, in the Cottle's Claw. But yeah, you're right. You can shoot twice as well.
So yeah, stealth good, and it's got Trek, who's I think Age of Sigmar 3's most hated model.
Fuck Gotrek.
Well, he's the only reason why Nigel's there for Gotrek, isn't it? Basically, Nigel's going for Darren's competition or whatever. So as long as he can kill lots and lots of monsters with him, he won't care about the rest of the army.
Yeah. This year it's Gotrek versus Kragnos.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not a very good matchup.
No.
Well, we'll leave Nigel's erotic thriller, and there you go. But yeah, it should go out. It's 3 wins.
It should do, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll report back tomorrow because not tomorrow, Wednesday, because I'm playing it. So we'll see how it goes in our test game.
Right. So next up, we have. So we'll come back to our lists. So we're now on to, if I've got this right. So this is Steve Curtis's hot pick for a podium. So he reckons that Fabian Quinn's Zeech is going to be up there in the 1, 2, 3.
So this a name we've not heard in a number of years. I think he's been playing Magic the Gathering and it's come back. It's a good lad, Fabian. So what have we got? We are in Host Arcanum, which I've used with the Gaunt Summoners before. You get some pre-game moves with it. You can summon a unit of Screamers from memory. Grand strategy price sorcery, which is pretty typical for a Tzeentch army. You just keep a wizard alive, off you go. He has bought a spell enhancement with his command entourage, which is really, really good in Tzeentch.
Yeah.
An extra spell.
I didn't know it gave you a bloody extra spell for every single wizard.
Yeah. Extra spell per wizard. It's really, really good equity for what you get versus over like one item or something like that. Just gives you some choice. Obviously, Tzeentch has got a lot of multicast wizards. The biggest thing with Tzeentch often is that you don't have enough spells to cast, whereas actually buying the spell just gives you those options. It actually looks a little bit like my Hallow Heartless from Blood and Glory.
You've got Hogs as well to give him extra spells, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah. So there's just like summoning all over the place with it. He's casting a lot of spells a turn, a lot of range damage. I've got Archaon, who in Tzeentch is legit good. Not quite sure what buffs and things he's got going around, but obviously you've got Kairos's dice to turn a wound roll to a 6, so he only needs to roll 1/6 to take something off, and so it does all just sort of synergize really well. It's super light on models in the start, but it gets a free unit of Screamers and it'll be summoning horrors every turn. Not pinks, I don't think, but it'll be putting models on the board every turn while it's taking yours off.
Can Archaon still use Destiny dice for the 6/6 wound?
Yeah.
So that's an option as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you've got Destiny dice, you've got Kairos's dice.
Yeah. So if you don't roll 6s or you roll low 6s, you've always got effectively a guaranteed 6, haven't you?
Well, yeah, you can pick something and take it off most games.
Yeah. But you can't do that on Gargants, can you? Because
no, not on big ones.
Yeah. So, may struggle against Gargants. Archaon still does a ton of damage. Whether he kills a Gargant in a turn, I'm not sure.
He's survival foot though, isn't he?
Yeah, this is it. With the Destiny dice, his save, the command points for the
He can
saves.
heal twice every hero phase or something, can't he? Or something? Because he can do the hero one and then he can do the Nurgle head or whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, he's super good. He's really good in anything at the moment. Archaon and Tzeentch is one of the better places for him. So yeah.
Do you think
Just point out how, can we point out how ridiculously good cogs are in a Tzeentch list now? Because that's a bonkers amount of stuff for 45 points.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
clever.
I mean, it is clever. It's also fairly obvious. Like, and it's not secret that it's good in Tzeentch, but it's good.
Yeah.
And if you're going with the intent to win, which I know somebody like Fabian would be, you'd always have it in 45 points.
Yeah.
I mean, you combine that with the extra spells as well. You've got so much choice there.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of what we were talking about before, where we're all taking simple lists that don't do it. This is like,
so yeah, something I was going to say actually with something like this, and it was kind of an issue I had playing Hallowheart in the first few games I played outside of Blood and Glory, is that you almost have decision paralysis in a hero phase.
Yeah.
So if Fabian's anything like me, he'll have mapped out his first few hero phases and have them written down, so that you can just go through the motions. Because if you get those first few hero phases right, you tend to win the game.
Has he got many buffs to cast in this? Other than
Blue Scribes, I believe, give rerolls to everything for a command point.
Oh, okay.
Or a spell. From...
It used to be the spell, but I don't know if that's changed.
No, it's probably the spell.
But I mean, it casts on like a 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I suppose an interesting thing though with the miscast, if there's any early double ones on Kairos, on Archaon, that could be quite interesting, couldn't it?
Oh yeah, with miscast, yeah, that could be interesting. Because Kairos can still obviously do that, or just on a natural double one, can't he? Yeah, obviously, because he still just
he change the 1 to a 1.
Yeah. I just want to say something. There's been a little bit of talk about some TOs wanting to comp lists like this, where you only have like one unique character, and I think this list is like one of the reasons why. Do you agree with that or not? Do you think they're too
I don't necessarily think it's an issue with unique characters. I think it's just an elongated hero phase. I think it's going to be quite boring to play against. Because you are just going to be sat there while he rotates through 15 or whatever spells. But that's how some of the armies are. Some of them do it in the shooting phase as well. Don't necessarily think you need comp in inverted commas. I think it's.
I think I mean, supposed to be. Is it the old world they're calling it? So like the rank and flank game that they're developing. And if you think back, Warhammer as old in the square blocks and all the rest of it was quite grounded. I know you had monsters and you had magic, but it was quite grounded. It was a troop game. Whereas I think Age of Sigmar, when you think about, they've exploded the world. You've got endless realms, and you can sort of map them out. But you've got the space to have gods fighting and, massive, really important characters like Nagash and Archaon. And I think you'll lose a lot of what makes Age of Sigmar if you start saying, well, you can come to the party, but you've got to leave that really cool god model on the shelf.
Yeah, no. I think it's wrong to say that you shouldn't be able to take anything, basically. I mean, there are things that are outliers that are blatantly undercosted or too strong or whatnot. That's always going to happen, I think. And it's... Yeah, exactly.
I think we just need to be patient.
I think. Sorry, Tom. I think these lists are what drives that conversation, basically.
Yeah.
So some people, if you have loads of people taking this exact list, and I know quite a few people around the world that have obviously seen this and gone, yeah, especially on TTS over the last year and whatnot, have gone, that's the best thing. I want to take that, basically, and. I believe that they'll be fixed anyway via points or rule changes or whatever. But I think it's interesting the fact that people are saying that, the fact that you just you stick up, you just go, oh, all these unique ones, they all fit together, they work perfectly. Let's just take that. Basically, it doesn't really happen in other armies. I don't think, not really. But it's interesting that this is
the chaos stuff's always a little bit on the weird side, just with the way that the books interact.
Oh yeah, because they all mix together.
And what do they call them now?
Subfactions?
No, they're allies, but not allies. Coalition.
Coalition, yeah.
Yeah, so where you're taking things not in your battle tome in an allegiance and them gaining the keywords and things like that. It's not. I'll use the word problem, and I don't mean it in a broader sense, but it's a problem that kind of only exists within chaos. And Slaves to Darkness and the Gods specifically, because of the way that the game's built for the interactability between the books, there's always things that sneak through. And like you say, they can be fixed if it turns out that it's too good. I mean, looking at this, Fabian's had to spend 325 points on things that aren't characters. And I imagine that's probably the cheapest battle line that he can do.
Yeah, exactly.
So something in this list, I can't see how many points the list is in total, but it's probably near the nose.
Yeah, we spent 100 points on spells as well. So
yeah, so like something like this list, if some of the things changed ever so slightly in points, all of a sudden it does change it. I just hope he's played a lot of games with it to get used to it in the hero phase and stuff like that. Otherwise, they're going to be some slow games.
Yeah, I was going to say, you wouldn't want to be getting to 2.5 hours in and he's on his second hero phase, would you?
Yeah, I don't think he would be, but
I'm extreme example.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything it fears? Do you think it fears a got track to the face, or?
I think it can probably summon enough stuff just to keep him away.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good list. I think, not quite sure how it handles Gargants just going first, and because this is not a low drop army, is it?
Well, Battle Regiment makes it.
Battle Regiment. So yeah, he's.
No, there's a lot of stuff that isn't in it.
1, 2, 3, so 4 drops.
We can't be. He's got a command entourage in there.
Yes,
as well.
That's 3. So he's got Kairos, Blue Scribes, and the Magister of the command entourage.
Yeah. So he's 4.
And Archaon and the 3 battle line battle regiments is 4 drops.
Yeah. Does he summon on screamers in this one as well at the beginning?
It's a free unit 6, I believe, from the Fang Circlet.
Okay. Yeah. So he's quick as well and everything. Pretty much everything flies, doesn't it? Barring the Kyric acolytes as well.
Yeah, so, which means that D3 of the units get a 6-inch pre-game move.
Okay.
Well, that's what you get for Host Arcanum.
Yeah. And he can deny just unbind spells in like turns 1, 3, and 5, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
I think we can all agree Steve's made a good
yeah.
Well, he's going to be this Fabian. He better win it then. God, a lot of pressure on him.
Second place. So
I think he should go 4 anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, 4 wins minimum.
He'll do well. The list will. So this is Steve's wild card. So not necessarily a 1, 2, 3, but something that he thinks is kind of a bit of an outlier. So it's a City of Sigmar in the Phoenician, which is the Phoenix city.
Which realm's it from, Tony?
Fire? I don't know. It's not fire, is it? Fire? Phoenix? Fire?
I think it is. I don't know though.
Girl? I don't know. I only know my background. I don't know the actual background.
It might be from Gairan. I don't know. One of the two.
So we've got a Flame Spire Phoenix. That's the one that comes back to life, isn't it? Flame one.
Yeah.
And I imagine something called the Phoenix Ashes is something that interacts with that.
Sure.
I've
done no homework on this. We've got an Anointed. I think that is the Phoenix Guard hero, is it?
Yeah, it's just one that's not on a Phoenix. Yeah.
And then we've got a Knight as Azyros.
This is a 1 drop as well.
Yeah.
It
is really good in cities lists because you re-roll it once a hit.
And then we've got 30, 20, 20, 10 Phoenix Guards. and a chariot, probably because there was points left over. The 10-man Phoenix Guard looks like it's in there to babysit the Anointed.
Yeah, so the way that cities works with the smaller generals is that the honoured retinue, if they're near him, you
Pass
get
on
a
to the
4-up
unit.
pass on to the unit, and also the general's adjutant on the Azeros is if they're near the general, you get an extra command point in the hero phase on a 4-up.
Yeah.
So
Is that just your hero phase, though?
yeah, it will be.
It's old school, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rule-wise, yeah. So I
I
suppose
mean, this is less War Scrolls Learn the Game 4.0, isn't it? It's just the extreme version of that.
And the Phoenix Guard are proper tanky unit, aren't they?
Yeah,
We've got
but
8 of them.
I believe they'll be immune to battle shock.
They can they fight when they die as well, I think, in this. I think in Phoenician. Maybe.
Mm.
They can fight. Yeah, I think they can fight when they die.
There'll be some armies that just can't get past it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can play that for everything else after mine, to be honest.
It's a gatekeeper list for sure.
Yeah. Do you think it's got enough?
If you lose a unit in that turn, you're +1 to hit and wound with everything.
Yeah.
So you can even throw your chariot out, get it to killed, and then buff all.
Yeah, it's a shame that he's gone with the battle regiment idea to be a 1-drop, when actually I think you might be better off going 2-drop, splitting the battle regiments up and having more smaller units to be able to then feed the buffs into the bigger one.
Yeah, because there isn't any specific things that give, like, there's no like you pick a unit and put a buff on it with this. It's more like auras, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I guess the idea is especially with all the monsters around, you get to go first, run up the board, and then just stay there.
Well, also, we can rally them back, I suppose, if the bigger units as well. So so that's a big thing.
But yeah, I like that. It's quite an interesting idea. Not quite sure. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you would need a fair whack of punch to get through that 30-man block. Even the 20s are pretty solid. I suppose they're in the same vein as like Mortec Guard or something like that, aren't they? They're just tanky.
Yeah.
Right, okie dokie then. So that's Steve Curtis's wild card. So there we go. I think it's some good picks. I mean, Steve unfortunately isn't with us this weekend. He's not died. He's just not coming to this event. But you know, Steve definitely knows his stuff. So we're keeping our eye on those chaps. So we are now going over to Laurie's. This is his win card. So this is his podium. Although Laurie has said to win. So he reckons that Matthew Goldsborough, the Helen Hard mode list is the one.
Hard. I hope that's sarcastic.
You know way better than I do. No, big guy in this though.
No, and I think you'll see more Lumineth going away from the big guy. To be honest, Severath is a big enough guy. Having played with him the other weekend, like he's just so many rules. He's unreal. So you know he's got his grand strategy's prized sorcery, which keep a wizard alive when you've got units of wizards is fairly straightforward, to be honest. Severath, the Wind Mage, 2 Law of the Wind spell. So okay, so he has got a spell enhancement as well. When you've got so many wizards, is just kind of a no-brainer.
How long's that hero phase going to be?
This is again, it needs to be a list that he'll have had to play a lot of games with this, otherwise.
I think we know he has, to be honest. He's done really well with it. So
he knows it very well. I'd say he's probably ahead of the curve, if anything, with this.
Cool. So yeah, it's got the Caligrave again with 2 spells. I don't know what the items do. And then single unit of 15 wind charges, single unit of 30 wardens. My understanding there is it obviously keeps the drops a little bit lower. It means your Hunters of the Heartland units are pretty beefy.
Mhm.
And it gets good equity out of the Helen command ability, which is do a normal move in combat after you've fought. So you can either skirt around the board or you can fight and retreat a little bit. It's just a little bit tricky.
And you count with fighting always, don't you? Even if you're not in combat. So you can just move regardless. Or is that how it works?
No, that was in the battalion. It's
so that's gone now at least.
yeah, you still pile in wherever you want. So you can still pile in backwards and things like that with the Hurricane
And you can
unit.
still do it 6 inches, can you, as well?
And when you charge.
Only when you charge, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because the battalion was that was the wording was
always do it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you always do.
Yeah.
You can charge in and then on a retreat as the pilot mode, you still got to go closer to an enemy, or is that rule?
No, you go wherever you want.
You could charge in and then just retreat 3 and a bit back, not even 5.
You can read 6 and a bit. Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. It negates all the piling rules.
Okay.
You just get a free move essentially.
So the thing with this army has it got a lot of punch to kill anything?
The 15 wind charges with +1 to hit will do a fair bit. Obviously, with it being in Helen as well, the wind charges get +1 shot if they're within 3 inches of an enemy, which is quite good. Although it is only models within 3 and not units within 3.
3 they're in because I presume they die to a stiff breeze.
2 wounds, 5 up save, I assume.
Exactly. Did you not line up on that?
So I mean, has he got punch? He's got the 30 sentinels is a good few mortal wounds every turn.
30 wardens, apparently. Yeah.
Sorry?
30 wardens. Yeah, they can do something. No?
30 wardens on an objective doesn't go anywhere. You can't charge them.
Do they literally just sit there in a big triangle and go, not today?
Yeah, I think it's a good list.
So that is Laurie's to win.
How well do you think that does against the Zinch one with Archaon?
I think it plays a turn. You think you play 2 hero phases and you have 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So God knows.
Imagine the summoning for the Zinch.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the number of summoning points it's going to give away.
Yeah.
Bonkers. There we go. So this next one should be Laurie's wild card. There you go. So I'm not quite sure whether Laurie's gone for a wild card by the player or the list.
I think he's gone for the
Is this AD's list?
It is AD's list, yeah. So I still think this has got legs. I think I watched this. I watched one of his games streamed. So he knows what he's doing with it. And I think he's now got new Be'lakor as opposed to old Be'lakor, so it's just automatically better than it was.
He's got a Gorgon in there as well.
You got what?
A Gorgon ally.
Yeah, just a monster, isn't it? I suppose for the missions and stuff. So you got 3 demon princes of
Corn.
Corn. Yeah.
You've got Be'lakor and a Blood Secrator. 10 Marauders, 9 Untamed Beasts, the Mandatory War Shrine, and the Gorgon.
And those 3 demon princes are basically 1 unit, is how he's going to play that.
Yeah, they go around. They all strike first. They all get +1 attack from the Blood Secrator. Yeah.
This is a list that AD's probably done different variations of for the last 30 years.
No, it's something that that Luke Morton ran a while ago. Personally, I think it's a little outdated. I think it's an anti-shooting list in a game that doesn't have as much shooting now.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good list. Don't get me wrong. But I think all the shooting that you care about doesn't need line of sight these days.
I could see you go 4-on-1 with this the week.
Oh yeah, it's very good. I don't think it's got the legs to win an event personally.
It's another simple one as well. Just with the theme of what we were saying before, there's not that many crazy things going on with it.
No.
You got Marauders and a bunch of Demon Princes running around. It's quite fun to play, I think.
Yeah, when the Slaves book first came out, I ran a despoilers list, but I went with one of every Demon Prince, and it was rubbish. This is definitely better.
Yeah.
So can he do the Slaves to Darkness? Khorne Demon Prince does is it half charge or something like that? Command ability. Can he do that off all of them, or can he only do one? He can only do that once in the hero phase, can't he? Off one of them.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he can only do one. Yeah.
But I mean, it's 18-inch range, so you don't really need it.
Anyway, yeah. Okay.
I mean, you've got a lot of healing in this. The Demon Princes don't die particularly easily.
Yeah.
And what's the healing from?
You something within the despoilers.
Right, okay. And obviously you've got heroic healing as well if you need it. So yeah, as a bit of a wild card, I can see.
It's a fairly safe wild card. He'll win 4 games.
You can never discount the player anyway, can you?
It's interesting that he's got hold the line as his grand strategy, considering he's got just Marauders and Untamed Beasts.
So I've spoken to Luke about this, and it's a play on. Like when I played with the Vermin Lords, using secret missions to keep the clan rats alive, because it makes people want to go and kill them.
Yeah.
If you just literally just put them in the corner of the board, and if they want to go and kill them for the 3 points, they can do.
Yeah.
It just gives the opponent another choice.
Yeah. And he's got enough units, I suppose. Yeah. There's no summoner, is there? No. So he's only got the models on the board. But I suppose if you can do enough shenanigans and whatnot, he'll just win it. So yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I suppose it's worth just caveating here. Once we're getting into people's top picks and wild cards, we're expecting some a reasonable level of naughtiness. So there are definitely some softer lists in the pack that are not.
It's interesting because none of these have got. It's interesting because none of these have got Gotrek. None of these big picks.
None of these chaos lists have got Gotrek in.
Exactly, yeah.
They're not very good against it though. And I think you've got to be good against Gotrek.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to let him kill the load time. It's fine. or the AKA the Mad King. Right, so I'm going to have to. This is Alex's wild card, and the reason we're shifting this around will become apparent. It's almost like we plan these things, sort of. So this is Angus Brain, Emerald Host with the Most is the name. I don't even know you could name your list. Well, there you go. So we've got a Knight of Shrouds on Steed. We've got Spirit Torment, 2 Cairn Wraiths, 2 Dreadblade Harrows, 2 Units 10 Hex Wraiths, 9 Spirit Hosts, and double Black Coach. And I think we've gone with the Wraiths and the Harrows because you get the command entourages in, and they're probably like the cheapest for what they bring to the table.
Yeah. So it's double command entourage.
Command entourage, and that frees up the Hex Wraiths being and the Spirit Host being Hunters in the Heartlands. And
isn't it like 4 battalions?
Say again.
Has he got 4 battalions there then? So
yeah.
One, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I didn't. Alpha back, is that right? Because you're not going to be a monster for that. Black Coach's monsters.
Behemoth, I think.
Yeah, the Behemoth.
Oh, is it Behemoth? Right, okay.
Good question though.
It is. It will be the battlefield role, I think.
Apologies, Angus, for doubting your.
We just haven't got a clue at the moment, have we?
No, I think there'll be quite a few of those moments in games though where you're a bit like, "Oh shit, I'm really sorry, but I effed up on 1 and 2 and."
Behemoth that's not a leader, so yeah.
And Black Coaches are Behemoths.
Yeah, no leader.
Well, they're not monsters, are they? Because there isn't a single monster in Nighthorn.
No.
Apart from the Morgul.
Yeah. I do know there's one Nighthorn list that's going that's stuck Manfred as a ally, so they've got a monster technically.
So what's Alpha Beast pack do? I've not really read this one.
E6 pre-game move.
Yeah,
Okay, that's all right.
Not bad.
black coaches are pretty quick anyway, aren't they? So
yeah, it's interesting. I think the Hex Wraith don't go anywhere particularly quick. Neither does 9 Spirit Hosts.
Yeah, big fan of Spirit Hosts, especially with Rally around now as well. Big unit like that.
Like, the command ability for putting D3 back a turn as well is.
Well, the black coaches can put them back as well, can't they?
Yeah.
When they get to a certain level, because it's models, I think.
Do you think the fact that the 9 Spirit Hosts and they've got to maintain coherence is going to be a bit of an issue for them, though? That'd be my own.
You don't get to attack with many of them.
Yeah. It's only 1 inch reach on Spirit Hosts, isn't it? So you're going to get 5 guys. You maybe risk the triangles on the ends to get 7, but then you're Constantining down and you're going to lose a lot if you lose 1, aren't you? So
yeah,
it's the same with them.
It's a fun looking list. Like, it's going to look nice on a table with all the mirroring of 2 black coaches and 2 big units, Hex Wraiths and stuff. I think it's going for style.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I've played with most of these models, and I still have no idea what any of it does. So
didn't you just do 40 chain rasp with all the stuff behind it, and then when whatever came into it?
No, I mean that was when I played with Grief. Like, I did play with Nighthorn when the book first came out. I mean, I don't think I played with the coach. I own a coach. You might be able to see it behind me. But I'll be honest, I've got no idea. It'd be a wild card for me because I've literally got no clue what it does.
no one probably does at the moment, does it?
It's certainly got a chance to be the best Nighthawk list there, I think. So
well, there is a couple, I think.
That's what I mean.
So all right, yeah, there you go. So that's Nighthawk. Nice to see a Death Army in the mix, I suppose. So this is now Gabe's wild card choice.
Oh yeah.
So this is Tim, who is a Marauder. Couldn't make it on tonight. With his Gloom Spike Gits. Don't know what any of this means.
So it's the Broken Realms Trog thing. So your Loon Shrine can bring back Trogs.
Yeah.
It's got a Trog, it's got a Spider, it's got a Goblin, it's got a Goblin, it's got a load of Trogs.
It's surprising. It's surprising. The reason why I picked it because I think it will catch a few people out. Tim knows how to play it, and I think people underestimate. People see Trogs on the table and they go, oh, "Okay, yeah, it's a joke, it's a meme list or whatever." But those rock guts can stay there pretty long. Those rock guts can dish out a lot of damage as well. When people
keep a swingy, and now with all that attack, they're terrifying.
What are they? What's the reach on them?
2-inch reach. They can easily all get in. I think the thing that they lack is attacks. I think they're like 2 attacks each, but they're like because of the Dankhold's command ability, it's like an aura, so he can do that, and then if he's got another hero nearby, he can do like all out attacks. So it's like 2 rerolling ones or something, and then freeze rend free usually if he's got his little wizard around.
Yeah, the Moonface Marmot on the Mad Cat, which just goes off if he's in range. I think it's 12 inches.
Yeah.
He's got a teleport to get up there and attack you. He's always been a bit iffy on his bigger Ragnarok. He's always been swapping him in and swapping him out, but he did do something every now and again. He's a little bit more survival with an amulet as well.
Mm-hmm. The Destiny one is the 5 award from the book, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
he's got the spell. The Gloomspite spells are always really good. Like Itchy Nuisance is good to help the Trogs stay alive. Hand of Gork, can that be used to teleport Trogs? Is there anything with the Gits keyword? Yeah.
He's got a bit of redundancy because he's got the Arachna Cauldron to cast that if need be, if the fungoid dies basically, and or to cast any of those spells. But one thing he quite likes at the moment is a Scuttle Tide, just to pick people off. And well, obviously people can walk over them and stuff like that, but it's still a big hindrance, big base, etc. And I think it did a lot of work against Mr. Blacksaw the other week.
Yeah, he tabled me.
Yeah,
And I think that Scuttle did probably about a third of the damage. It was it was pretty crazy.
I think the one thing he's probably quite he's quite a slow army. I think he has a teleport and whatnot, so I think that's probably why he stuck a few little spider riders in just to help him out, maybe grabbing objectives early on, maybe.
Yeah, they're quite a big profile screen with the unit 5 as well. Like you can take up like half the width of the board nearly.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have his crutch in the 20 stabbers, does he? To give you -1 to hit with a doily on you.
Yeah.
So
but he's got sneaky distraction on the Ragnarok for that as well, for the -1.
So he can still do this, but this is a slightly massive change for Tim with his trogs because he's not got any river trogs, whatever they're called, fell waters, and he usually goes around. So he's quite right in the rock guts.
The fell waters are the ones with the shooting attack, right?
Yeah, they
-1 to hit as well.
So yeah, but the Hunters of the Heartlands as well for his 2 big units, so they're not getting stomped, etc.
Yeah,
they're just going to stay there. To be honest, in the games I've seen him play, and I'm playing him again tomorrow, he's very rarely had to roll the 4 up to get any of the trogs back because there's just
9 model. How many wounds have they got?
4 wounds each.
4 wounds each.
Oh, so they don't count as 2 then. That's a shame.
No, yeah. 36 wounds with a 5 up after.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. If they were the 2 wounds, like they'd be quite a serious army now.
Yeah. If they had an extra wound apiece.
Yeah.
I suppose the thing is, I mean, 9 of them, and you can have 10 just random foot dudes, and the 10 random foot dudes have got the objective over the 9, though, isn't it? That's the 10 zombies outscore them, which still seems ludicrous, but there you go. So there you go. That's Gabe's wild card, which that's what we want on a wild card, isn't it? That was just something.
Well, I think Tim could easily go 3-2 with that. Easily catch a few people out.
It is cool, and to be honest, I think that's one of the advantages of like us being a club with stuff like picking wild cards is because we talk to each other and we know each other.
Yeah.
You know, no one necessarily going through all those lists would have gone Tim without knowing the background and the some of the tech behind it. So it's quite nice.
Yeah.
Right then, so I think we're on the last list now. So this is everybody's top list to.
It's the person who should win it, really. If he doesn't, he's an embarrassment to himself.
Yeah, he doesn't go 5-0 and gets all the secondaries and everything. He's got to name all his characters at the following event.
People have already got names.
Yeah. Delacroix.
So go on then, Tom. Talk us through this filth fest because I don't even understand it.
So everyone else has been saying about taking armies that are quite blunt and trying to learn the game by not having that many interactions, and I've gone the opposite. I've gone with one of the more techie lists I've used in a while. I'll be honest, mainly because I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft and I've not had that much painting time. So some of the lists that I've really wanted to run, I've not been able to get together just purely through sheer laziness. A lot of this has been painted through various other projects. But I base everything the same. I paint everything the same, so it still looks cohesive on the table, which is a good thing. So I always have a soft spot for Be'lakor. And I've never ran him at an event because of COVID, and so even the old Be'lakor, I painted him. Never used him at an event that I can remember. The idea behind the list is it's kind of a bit of a denial list. So it wants to take options off the table for the opponent and make it hard for them to do their thing. So it's got a lot of movement restrictions. So you've got Be'lakor stopping something for a turn. Kairos, you could potentially change a charge dice. You've got the Khorne Demon Prince, whose command ability halves run and charge rolls within 18. You've got the Bile Piper, which could stop piling in. Horror's blocking board space. The Plague Bearer's blocking some board space. You've got Shackles as well to just add that extra layer of movement denial.
Of NPE.
Sorry?
Of NPE.
I don't. Well, yeah.
I must admit, it's one of those as well, though, that you look at it, and if you don't know what everything does, because I played it a few weeks ago, and I was like, how bad can it be? You know, it doesn't look that like imposing on the table, and you just you bounce off it. It's like there's some kind of invisible force field in front of the army.
It reminds me. It looks a bit like a spider's web, like the sort of thing. Like you'll draw people in, and then they'll just be stuck, and you'll just
it does. It plays its own game and tries to stop people playing theirs. Now the worry is it doesn't have that much killing power.
Yeah,
you know, it's not. It doesn't have none, but you know, it's designed to hopefully stop people getting to the objective rather than killing them off it. So yeah, the list itself then. So grand strategy is prize sorcery, which keep a wizard alive. The triumph bloodthirsty. I thought that was +1 to wound. It's not. So I'm getting a free charge reroll somewhere. The general's Be'lakor. So it's in the Legion of the First Prince. So key things with Legion of the First Prince is all the demons in there get a 6 ward save. So it doesn't really impact the plague bearers, but it does impact everything else. There's a summoning element, so you can pick a hero at the end of your movement phase, roll 3 dice. If you get a 10 or more, put 10 or a unit of models corresponding to the mark of that god. So Sloppity would be 10 plague bearers, Demon Prince would be 10 bloodletters, Kairos would be 5 horrors. Be'lakor, because he's the big man, gets to choose one of the gods to be able to put something on. You summon them within 12 outside of 9 and things like that. So it is dumping some extra little bits on the board every turn. Every battle shock phase at the end of, on a 3+, you can put D3 models back into the battle line type units. So your plague bearers, your horrors, your bloodletters, and demonettes. I don't have any of that. That's kind of what the allegiance does. So yeah, you've got Be'lakor, you've got Kairos. The Master's Command is the only spell in the Legion of the First Prince, and it's essentially just a fight when you die. It's something that all the wizards get. Very rarely cast it, to be honest, but it is useful every now and then.
So there's one change here, isn't there? So
yeah, so
arcane tone.
So you've got Be'lakor and Kairos are the two main characters.
Yeah.
The Slaves to the Darkness Demon Prince. So actually, the arcane tome on the Demon Prince was a little bit of a meme, and I just thought I'd just play with a Khorne Wizard just because it's the first time that you've been able to outside of Archaon. And actually, Flaming Sword on him isn't bad either. But Alex's event's making me take a item from the Allegiance. So the Demon Prince now has the, don't know what it's called. I think it's called the Dark Shard Armor or something like that. But essentially, he gets a reroll armor save in combat. So he's a little bit more tanky.
Is he unrendable as well?
Sorry?
No? Is he unrendable or is that just Be'lakor?
No, it's just Be'lakor. It's just Be'lakor. He's got 3 up.
Okay.
So with Arcane Shield and a command point, it could be on a 2-up reroll him against Rend.
You've got prize sorcery, so it's basically Be'lakor, Kairos, and the horrors now. Because
annoyingly, there was 4 wizards in there for the prize sorcery. Now there's only 3, which is a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah.
Is prize sorcery models at the start of the game? Or does it count your pinks afterwards?
So the pinks still have to be the right number of models to count as a wizard.
Sorry, I'm meaning, so you've got 5 opportunities across the 5 turns to bring new units into the game, don't you?
Oh, but they're only units of 5, so they're never a wizard.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So I'm going to play this with the horrors that if there aren't enough pinks left on the board for them to count as a wizard, in my mind, I haven't got the run strategy.
Yeah.
At that point, although it's arguable because it says a wizard from your starting army, and the horrors are in the starting army. I don't know, but I'll play it the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Be'lakor, Kairos, and enough of the pinks out your 20 need to.
And Be'lakor is super survivable in this Legion. He has a 4-up shrug. He's got a 4-up unrendable. He's got a 6-up ward. He's got opportunity to heal himself. He's got an opportunity to heal through things failing battle shock and things like that. So he's pretty tanky.
So is there anything you'd say, like, I mean, I think I'm probably thinking of Tom Blacksoul's mentality here. That I look at that and I go, well, you know, there's not really any particular targets that you're going to be going, well, I need to kill that, because I'm in Be'lakor potentially. But I'm also thinking, like, my style list, there's nothing really that's in mind that if you Be'lakor me, I'm not bothered about.
No.
So I suppose, you know, there's an advantage to that kind of thing. But is there anything that you're
It doesn't. The thing is, though, with these days, with the Be'lakor thing being on a 3+ every phase, you can't really rely on it. It's there as a bonus, and it's there more to. I've always said, ask your opponent loads of questions; they'll make some of the wrong answers. So again, it's just one of those things, especially with Be'lakor now. You're not having to note down the unit.
Said that.
Sorry,
I thought it was Russ who said that.
I think you might have copied me.
Is that your quote?
The thing with Be'lakor now, not having to note down the unit at the start of the game, just gives you that. So I've gone through games and never used it.
Yeah, that's really good.
People just play against it, assuming that you're going to do it, and if you don't, they've already done something wrong in some cases.
Yeah.
So yeah, finishing off the list, there's a Bile Piper. I like the model, and I think he does some really cool stuff. 20 pink corners. Sorry, Gabe?
He stops pylons, doesn't he, that one?
Yeah, he's got 3 abilities. He stops pylons. He gives you mortals on a 6 or +1 attack for plague bearers. So there's occasions where the mortals on 6s make a difference. And because you're potentially summoning more plague bearers in, you can summon them in front of him to create a new screen that things can't pile round when they move near it and things like that. So yeah, your battle lines: 20 horrors, 10 plague bearers, 10 plague bearers. Spells, spell portals, life swarm, shackles, life swarm just for more healing in the army. Healing pinks is great. Healing Be'lakor and Kairos is great. Portals, I think you just want every list that you've got Kairos in, just for the opportunity to just pop off a support hero. Frustratingly, the Demon Prince would have been the one casting the portals, because he'll be a bit further forward, so we can use the new rules to extend the range of it. But can't do that anymore. And shackles just 2-drop, yeah. Shackles just adds another layer of denial to the army. It's extremely attrition based. It's not going to smash anybody off the table. Doesn't die very easily. The summoning just, it just keeps coming at you. The horrors, the plague bearers, they don't die easily. You're healing D3 a turn potentially. With the spell portal as well, putting some more models on the board. It needs to play 4 or 5 turns. I think it's pretty good at getting the battle tactics.
As
well. Don't necessarily think it should be everyone's pick to win the event based on some of the other lists that are going around.
It's more the pilot, really.
Sorry?
It's more the pilot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the name carries the list as much as the other one.
I've played a few games with it. It's done all right, but I've not played without the Arcane Tome on the Demon Prince. Yeah, so that'll be.
How are you find? Because the endless spells now, obviously, you can't drop them in your turn and then recast them, can you? So you're finding you're having to drop. Well, hope not to get the double. If you go, I go, you can drop them in their turn to then cast them in yours, or is that not really come into it?
Doesn't really come into it. I don't know the interaction with Kairos's ability to just take one off the board and whether that can be recast.
No, because it's come off in that. It's still in that.
You've just got to plan ahead.
Yeah.
This list doesn't really want a double turn.
No, that's why I think you actually want you go, I go, don't you? A little bit.
Yeah, in actual fact, there's certain turns where you want, like turn 3 for this army is huge. With the that's generally the turn that something will be Be'lakored. And then you've also got taking an objective off so you can give the double away. You've got a double dip with Be'lakor for 2 turns, and you've taken one of their objectives away. And then it's the idea being then from that point on, it's like swimming through mud to get to the objectives that are still left. The theory's there with it. It's done okay in practice games. 20 pink horrors is just filth.
Yeah.
I debated putting a second 20 in, but my lower back wouldn't be able to cope with it, because they're adding and removing models all the time is a pain, literally. And yeah, it's in a battle regiment, so it's 2-drop. It's the lowest you can get it while having the two big the two big guys in there. The list wants to go first in a lot of cases. It wants to get the portals up. It wants to try and snipe a support character, and just sort of establish its board position a bit. And yeah, it's one of those. There's a lot of anti-Gotrek in there.
There's a lot of Gotrek out there. So I suppose
there's a lot of Gotrek out there. It's Gotrek shouldn't see combat against me unless I do something wrong. Against something that I care about.
Yeah.
So
is there any lists that you've seen that you potentially fear or not? But without looking at the players, just looking at the lists or not?
I mean, my problem is there's been armies that have come out and I've not really played any games against them. Like I've only played one game against Lumineth.
Yeah.
And one game with them. So I could quite easily get caught out by something like Matt Goldsborough's list.
Yeah. What about the other, the Zinch Archaeon one? Do you think that could catch you out or not?
It wouldn't catch me out. It'd be a hard game.
Yeah.
Does Archaeon... There's no way to get him to pile in 6 in that list?
Don't think so, no.
I just don't think Archaeon sees combat.
I
mean, he might do. He shouldn't get a chance to sword off the big heroes. I never kill Archaeon, but he only counts as 5, so just
yeah. I think you just outscore him in models, don't you? Basically,
in theory, yeah. It is a list that it's going to be a slog to play against. It's going to be a slog to play with. It'll win games on the victory points, and obviously every game's won on the victory points. But it won't win by just going blap, you're off the board.
Yeah.
Some people's armies are like the Archaeon list. It's just going to barrel forward and try and sword off a big hero and things like that.
Yeah, jokes on him. I haven't got any big heroes.
Yeah. There's some really cool interactions with Be'lakor and the horrors where you can sit horrors like just on an objective, like with a few models around the outside, so that people don't think you're on it. They attack Be'lakor, you bounce the wounds onto the pinks, split the pinks into the blues onto the objective, and all of a sudden it's yours from nowhere. You got the opportunity to put pinks back on the board with the command ability and things like that. So I'd like to win. I'd like to go 5-0. I think maybe 4-1. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I just want to play Warhammer.
Cool.
I just want to get drunk with Russ at the bar on Saturday.
Like I say, I just want to play Warhammer. That's facetious with me taking a list like that because it doesn't really play Warhammer. It's. I think it's a good AOS 3 list. I think it's good against the things that people will be taking.
Yeah.
Gotrek was a big thing for me in making sure that I wasn't weak to that, and a few other things. So there probably is things that I'll come up unstuck against that I just don't know it yet because no one's played loads of games.
Yeah.
No, it's a little bit like lighting it with where the wind blows, and the fact that you've got the Wheel of Fate for the scenarios. It's not like you can sort of map out the weekend because you've absolutely no idea what combination things are going to hit. I mean, there's still I can't remember the name of any of the scenarios actually, but one of them's still an auto win on turn 3 if you've got the objectives, isn't they, in there? And so there are some slightly odd. I think one of them I worked out you can earn 48 points or something over a game.
Yeah, there's the again I don't know the name of it, but it's the old sort of diamond style 1, 2, and 4.
You get 9 and 9 and
yeah.
So I think there's, and I think there's still a Star Strike-esque one where they worth more at the end than at the beginning, and so
there's still a shifting objectives one. The scenarios
are definitely going to play in because I don't think. I assume some people have played them all by now, but I don't imagine.
I certainly haven't. It's I'm looking forward to using it in a competitive sense. Similar to the other things there, where it has the danger of being quite a slow army to play against. So I've been playing a few games with it just to make sure that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's fair. So I think we're gonna have to wrap up there. Just a bit of a shout out to the Facehammer guys. Actually, while I'm talking about Russ, they did give us a bit of a shout out on the latest Facehammer YouTube channel, which was very kind of them. So thanks, guys, and as always, we support you because good guys that in Russ and Byron. So and I think they're working on getting Facehammer tickets up and out soonish. I think Russ wants to play this weekend, get a feel for a tournament AOS 3 from what he was saying. So there you go. Any other shout outs while we've got, or before I work out how to turn this off?
And just hope it's been recording.
Yeah, definitely been recording.
Is there anything from me? No, don't think so. I think it's
I'm gonna go really pro and stop sharing so I can turn it off.
there we go. Yeah, it's just gonna be awesome to see everyone.
Yeah.
I really looking forward to just playing some games. Just hoping the weather isn't too hot because that room is gonna be a little bit unbearable.
Yeah.
Warm, a little bit moist.
A little bit. Yeah, get the anti-chafing gel out. It should be I should be like Marauders TV, sponsored by Lanacane anti-chafing gel.
Yeah, it's when
Tournament essentials. We should do that. There you go. That's an
That's
idea, isn't it? Like a tournament essentials kit.
But I do love it. You come with your overnight bag, and it's like anti-chafing gel, and then it's your lip balm, and then you look over and give me a smile.
Yeah, nothing's going to be dry. Don't worry.
No. So, right, we'll call it there. So thank you, Tom, Gabe, other Tom. You just other Tom. Sorry, Tom.
All right.
Other Tom.
I've been called this. It's fine.
So I guess if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, subscribing, tell all your friends what a great channel and a great bunch of guys we are, that'd be much appreciated. And we will see you at an event soon, no doubt.
We will see you at an event soon, this weekend.
Assuming they're there. But we'll talk about, guys, just before we proper rock out, I think we are going to get together, aren't we, afterwards and just talk about the event and how it went and all that side of stuff. So make sure you write some notes down, guys.
Yeah, will do.
Cool. All right. Cheers,
Cool.
guys. Thanks for watching.
See you later.
Bye.